I've started this recording. Good to go. So I'm talking about proxy. I'm going to rough this one. Proxy. Let's suppose this is my proxy server, and this is inside zone. We had discussed about all the zones. Don't worry about zones and all. This is inside and this is outside, right? So you can say this is inside my organization. There are multiple people are working in this organization, right? So it works as an intermediate system between inside your organization and the outside of your organization, right? So if you want to not allow this particular system to go outside your organization, you can block via proxy server as well, right? So earlier we have right now we are understanding what are the firewall techniques. In the firewall techniques, firstly we have discussed ki on the behalf of, on the basis of access control list, you can block, deny a particular traffic, a particular host or anything, right? In packet filtering we have discussed, and right now we are discussing about proxy server. In proxy server, it is the hardware device that is going to implement uh, in your organization between your between inside the organization or between outside the organization. So from here, the proxy server, you can also block or deny any particular host or any particular traffic. If you want to, if you want that any no any outside user comes into your organization, you can also block from here, proxy server as well. Yeah, it can be act as so that's why we are going through firewall techniques, because in any interview or in any things they can able to ask. So let's suppose you don't have firewall in your organization. So what are the firewall techniques you can use in your organization? So you can say packet filtering. With that packet filtering, we can apply ACL and act like as a firewall. In proxy server, we can go for the proxy server. In the proxy server, we can allow the inside or outside traffic or block the inside or outside traffic. And there's something called stateful firewall, transparent firewall. So these are techniques you can say. If you don't have firewall, you can use this technique as well. Okay. So, but the limitations are there is a single point of failure. What does it mean, single point of failure? Let's suppose somehow this firewall it down because any of the reason. It can be iOS update and whatever the reason, electricity reason, power supply, maintenance, reboot, any of the reason. If the proxy server goes down, your whole traffic, inside traffic and outside traffic, is going to block for that particular time of span, right? Because this is the intermediate now. You can't across them because every computer, every network is connected to this proxy server itself. So if it gets turned off, reboot, and any reason, your traffic is going to block there, correct? Okay. So that's why limitation are single point of failures, and there can be a more delay. More delay, the reason is very simple. Like like every traffic has to pass from that a single point. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I'm taking a very simple example here, right? So in every organization you have heard this word in our organization as well. They used to tell to use a specific DNS, right? They told now कि don't use the Google DNS 8.8.8, 8.8.4.4. These are the public DNS of the Google. So they don't recommend to use that DNS. They use their ISP or their own DNS network, right? And they also use sometimes tells कि use this proxy address. proxy address. So let's suppose, if I can able to show here, just let me just a moment. Proxy settings, you can go here, this proxy setting, and you can yes, you can set up, you can give the proxy address here, and you can save, right? Or you can also set up the manual proxy, but if a company gives you, you use this proxy address, so you have to paste the proxy address here, and you can save it here, right? So what are the advantage of that? The advantage will be, let's suppose, this is your router, and this is your ISP, right? And then router, there's a switch is connected there. Now for this switch, there are multiple PC are connected. Let's suppose these PC are connected over there. So whenever traffic is going to hit the switch, and with this switch, a server is also connected, that is called proxy server, right? So let's suppose in this case, let's suppose I'm removing as of now this proxy server. So in that case, when proxy server is not in this network, so traffic is going to hit this switch, and switch will forward this traffic towards router, and router will router will look up its routing table and look up the destination address inside that packet, and forward the traffic toward the destination. It can be you towards your ISP. So your traffic is forwarded like this when there is no proxy server in your organization, right? So when you introduces the proxy server in your organization, and this is your proxy server, let's suppose proxy server. So when you implemented this proxy server in your organization, so whenever any user tries to communicate inside or outside your organization, so first the traffic is going to hit the switch. Switch will forward the traffic towards your proxy server, and proxy server check that policy, whatever you have said regarding destination IP or source IP, allow, deny, and whatever you want to do with that traffic, and hit the traffic at proxy server. Proxy server look that traffic, check the policy, and act according to that. So if the policy is allowed, so again it will forward the traffic towards your switch. Switch will forward towards router, and router will forward towards ISP in case it is allowed. But in case the particular traffic is blocked, so traffic will hit the switch, which will forward the traffic towards your proxy server, and proxy server is going to block that particular traffic, right? So here, in this way, you can use this proxy server in your organization, right? Yeah. And now, limitation. There's some limitation, mm, but the proxy. Yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, yeah. If there's a single point failure now, if a proxy is going to block now, so no, all the traffic will be blocked, because you have defined, and you have defined now. So every traffic is going to hit the proxy server, and after proxy server take the decision according to the policy and forward the traffic, right? Okay. And I just want to discuss of the things. State stateful stateful firewall. Stateful firewall. Do you have any idea regarding the stateful firewall? Yes, it maintains the state of connection when packet is traveled through your networks, right? It is something like you can say. It is something like you can say. Let's suppose this is my firewall. Acha, whatever we are going through this stuff, if I represent something, which means I am representing this particular thing as a router. If I'm representing this thing as something like that, that is switch, and this is PC, and I have represented this thing as a box, that is your firewall. I have represented something like that, that is your ISP cloud. Okay, so don't get confused. I will use this uh, for So just want to give an overview about that. This is your firewall, right? And this is your ISP. Man, switch is connected to this firewall and multiple PCs are connected towards them, right? So just I am taking about this. This PC having this some sort of IP address 10.1.1.1, right? And the source IP is 10.1.1.1, and destination IP. Let's suppose this PC particular wants to reach towards the google.com. So what is the IP address of Google DNS? That is 8.8.8.8. So source IP is IP of this PC. It wants to reach towards Google, and the IP of Google is this one, right? Source port will be like any random ports out of, we have total number of 65,535. We have total number of ports. Out of well-known ports is 0 to 1023 is well known, right? Okay, good. So yes. So source port will be any of the random ports. It can be 5,000, let's suppose, and the destination port will be traffic. We want to reach the traffic via HTTP or whatever HTTPS. So source port will be 80 or 443 for the HTTP or HTTPS, right? So this packet, when you are whenever you are hitting any request over your browser, so all the request is going in this form, in the form of binaries, right? So the traffic is going this switch, and switch will forward this traffic to this firewall, and then firewall check the policy and forward the traffic towards ISP. Correct. So it it maintain the states. It's maintain the state like what is state? He 8.10.1.1.1 reaches 8.8.8.8, and it is allowed. It is allowed. So whenever the next time, source and the source port will be anything 5,000 or 80 or 443. So whenever it get reply, whenever we get the reply, and for that reply it will cross check the table whether the traffic is allowed or not. It is something like let's suppose I have not given money to you, but you are returning money to me. uh, let's suppose I'm giving you money, so I will ask now, but why you are returning money to me? I have not given any such kind of amount to you, right? For the same reason, we are going to cross check why, whether this traffic already has sent or not. If it is already sent, it will check this state table. Okay, this traffic is already passed via me, via this source IP address, this destination IP address, this port particular, this source port number, this particular destination port number. It will check the state table, and when the traffic comes, so now the source IP will be 8.8.8, because right and this time we are getting reply from this IP. So source IP will be this, and the destination IP will be 10.1.1.1, and the port will be 80/43. Source port number, destination port number will be 5,000. So it will cross check the table whether this traffic is passed through me, and if the traffic is coming, let's suppose if any random traffic comes from outside, so in that case it will check the state table, and it will say, oh, this particular traffic is hasn't passed from myself, so I have to block this particular traffic because it's not my traffic. This traffic is generated from outside. So yeah. So this is called firewall maintain this state table. So here we have understand what is the advantage, what is state table, how a state table is generated, and what is the advantage of a state table, right? Outgoing and incoming traffic will match, and after matching outgoing and incoming traffic, then it will allow or deny according to the whatever the policy you have defined there. Is it clear? Okay. Just now we are discussing the last technique, that is transparent. Oh, and one more thing, if you let's suppose, yeah, if you want to leave early, if you want to take the class till end, so you can go with that as well. Let's suppose some days you want to quit class earlier, right? So it is not compulsory, so it is not compulsory to bound, because we people are not like school or college kids to be bound there, right? Our concern, you came here and I'm teaching you for this concern, you can gain that knowledge and apply that knowledge in your organization, right? So for that process you have to understand the thing. Without understanding, if you are studying this class without the activating your mind, so it doesn't mean, it is better to quit the class, come come in the next class with the fresh mind, so that you can grasp all the concept, right? So it is not compulsory to be bound in that, like 1 hour, 2 hour. Whenever you are comfortable, you can say, right? Okay. So transparent firewall. So in that transparent firewall, both interface, both interface in same IP subnet. You're good with that, na? IP and all things. Okay. If you have any query and concern regarding any of the things like subnetting and all, you can let me know. We can discuss about that as well. Because because if subnetting is a very important. If you are not aware about that technically, that it will create a problem, right? It can filter traffic based on ports and protocol, right? So thing is that Uh, what does it mean? Both interfaces should be in same IP subnet. Let's suppose this is switch, like, and multiple PCs are connected with this switch, and switch is connected to this router. So this, let's suppose 10.1.1.1 is the IP of this particular interface, right? And this particular interface and all the PC or hosts connected with the switch having the should be the same IP address 1.2, 10.1.1.3, 1.4, 1.4. What does it mean? The all the IP address belongs to this particular subnet, right? With the same way, with that same way, and with that same meaning, with that same way and same meaning, your firewall should be in the same subnet. I will give the example. Let it be. Generally, our firewall is L3, L3 firewall, but we can also use it L2 firewall, right? Generally, your firewall is L3 firewall, but you can use as a L2 firewall as well. Whenever I am talking about L3, which means I am talking about IP address. Whenever I am talking about L2, which means I am talking about MAC address, right? That is frame, and that is packets, right? So, when we use firewall as L3, then we need to again assign IP address, right? So here I am giving the example of transparent firewall. So you can use it uh, as an the same subnet. Let's suppose this is my router, this is my ISP, right? So I am connecting this firewall between this switch and multiple hosts is connected with the switch. So let's suppose this interface IP address is 10.1.1.1. So I have to assign both the interfaces IP along with the same subnet. What is the IP address of this same subnet? If includes in the same subnet 10.1.1.2, 10.1.1.3. So this firewall act as a what? L3 firewall. Because why? Because both the interfaces are in, we have assigned, yeah, say not because of same subnet, because we have assigned both the interfaces as a L3 interface, because we have assigned the IP address to this interface, which means this interface is a L3 interface, right? So one case would be like this, and another case we can consider, this is your router, this is your ISP, from this router a firewall is connected, but this time we are not going to assign any IP to this firewall, it's an intermediator. So this firewall act as a L2 firewall. Why L2 firewall? Because we have not assigned any IP address, and we have considered this particular port as a L2 port, L2 port, L2 port, but the router having L3 port, L3 port, but this firewall having L2 port, L2 port, right? So this, it can be L2 firewall and L3 firewall. So your transparent firewall can be L2 firewall, L3 firewall, and it can be in the same subnet. Both interfaces can be in the same subnets, right? So I think uh, today I think for today's it is fine. It's fine. Okay. So we have gone through some basics and firewall techniques and all these things we have gone through. So agar, if you have any doubts and query and concern regarding whatever you have learned today, so you can ask it. Huh? And if you have any question regarding this course or anything, yes, you can ask if you haven't. Panorama, yes, we will discuss about this panorama, because panorama is it's just differently separate thing. Panorama is like a manageable. If you have a multiple firewall and if you want to like manage that firewall, so that is panorama is another module, right? We are going for PCNSA and PCNSE. Yes, but definitely we will discuss the panorama as well. But in depth panorama, we are not going to discuss here. Yes, but we are going to discuss in depth firewall. Whatever the functionality in the side the firewall, we are going to discuss everything. We are going to perform the lab as well. So don't worry about that. But panorama, yes, we are going to give the overview, give that all these things. Panorama, look, if you have the good knowledge about the firewall, no, you can easily able to handle that panorama, because what if it is, if you know the like, yeah, it is something like that. If you know to handle Windows 10, you can easily able to handle Windows 11. There's no hard kind of things, right? You can easily able to handle, and you are already working on that, right? So it is very easy for you. So if you go into deep depth of that firewall, then that will go. So you can easily able to cope up with that. There's no issue and query and concern regarding that. Okay. And it is not like we will not discuss anything about panoramas. Yes, we will discuss about panorama, what it is and how it is doing that. Okay. Or anything else? Okay. So don't worry about that. We'll try to cover as soon as possible. But the thing is, as far as if you want to complete the course as soon as possible, we can go for that. But my concern always will be there. Like if I'm giving my time to you, you are giving time to us, which means we both can able to contribute. Like if my time is not going to contribute in your career or anything else, that is totally waste of time. So going for that short span of time, we should go for like at least add some value to a profile, right? Otherwise there's a lot of people in the market who can teach, there are a lot of people in the markets who can learn, but my main concern is to add the value. Otherwise all the things are useless, right? Yeah. So cope up with that, and we'll go forward and just try to do two or three things whatever we are learning today. Just go with that, recall everything, and come to the next classes. And it's my whole responsibility to make you understand each and everything in class. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you, bye.